No, yes, ma'am, started.
Okay, so good morning, class. Our next chapter in history for the final term is early states. Okay, backbones is straight. All of you sit straight. Even the online class students sit straight. Be alert, and I want everything to be understood. Okay, so here we go. By about 6th century BC, the Aryans had spread throughout the North India. They no longer lived as tribals in villages or small towns. They now formed themselves into kingdoms and republics. The history of India from about 600 BC is well recorded. The Jain and Buddhist texts of these times throw enough light on the life of the people. The Puranas, Brahmanas, and the Aranyakas also gave useful information about the history of the period. Some information has also been gained from the period, from the excavations out at sites belonging to this period. So before we begin, let me just get you in touch with this chapter. Now we read about the early humans who were earlier were traveling as nomads. They were wandering in search of food, water, and shelter to the various places. Gradually, they learned the art of agriculture and they settled down at one place. You remember that much? You remember the Paleolithic age,
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
then
ma'am.
the Neolithic age, and the Chalcolithic age. Now, Chalcolithic age was the time when they started using some metals. Clear bronze was the first metal which they had made. Then, during these times only, they had learned the art of cooking. They had invented fire. They had invented wheel. You remember all this? This led to pottery making. Potter's wheel was made, and because of this, the pottery got more and more refined. Now, in the field of tools, also, you remember, they started making tools, better tools. And during the Chalcolithic period and Mesolithic period, they even made micro tools. That means the small tools, such as chopping knife or the scraping material. So all these things were keeping him busy and making him evolve into a better being. Okay. Now was the time when, if you remember the last chapter that we did, farmers and herders, you remember we talked of that people, early time people, they started living in groups. You remember that? You remember that? Now, while they were living
Yes,
in a
yes, ma'am.
society,
Yes, ma'am.
good. So while they were living in a society or in a small group with one man as a leader, they started growing in number. Now, as they grew in number, they gave that small little grouping a name and they called themselves as a village settlement. Clear till here, you remember that? This still there was the chapter we had covered. Now, how come states and towns now? So let me connect this chapter with what you had learned earlier. Now, what happened was this was the time when the societies were growing in number and the society head or the village head started becoming more and more powerful. They started fortifying their areas. You know what fortify means? अपने राज्य का किला बना लेना, एक घेरा बना लेना. Yeah. And when this was happening, this was the time in this chapter we will talk of when they began living as particular kingdoms started growing. Okay, there were kingdoms or states that those villages grew in number and they even formed small towns and cities. Yeah, so this is the connection of what you read earlier. Over the years, now we are talking of the time when man lived in a fixed, big, huge kingdom or in a society. Clear till here? Now, they also tell you in the first paragraph only that this was the time where we have ample information. Why? Because the documents were written at these times. Now, earlier, we were only dependent upon the work of the historians. Whatever historians told us, we came to know about that, isn't it? We have no knowledge about how man did actually. We only came to know through excavations. We excavated, we saw the remains, and we deduced. But now was the time when there were written records about this period. The Jain texts, the Buddhist texts. What are texts? The written knowledge about a particular religion. It's a document. The text you text on messages on your mobiles. So those are the texts which are present for this period. The Puranas, the Brahmanas, the Aranyakas, all these are the writings of this time which are present for us to know more and more about this period. Apart from this, there are constructions, there are various monuments. If you remember the Sarnath pillar, or Ashoka's pillar, the four-headed lion, which we even have as our national emblem, you all know that? Now, this is the pillar of Ashoka from where it is taken,
Yes,
at Sarnath. So it is this period only when the kings were there, the kingdoms were there, and it is during this time the remains of the Sarnath pillar give us ample information about this period. Is this much clear to each one of you? Yes. Keep giving me such motivations. I feel good. Not randomly, but yes, once I finish explaining, then you can do that. I understood. Thank you. That means a lot. Now we come to the next.
Welcome, ma'am.
Pay attention. Thank you for the love that you're sharing. Aram se. Bas. Don't get distracted. 40 minutes, 30 minutes, 25 minutes. जितने भी मिनट का क्लास होता है, जान लगा के पढ़ना होता है. That's it. Okay? Backbone से straight again. जब सीधे बैठोगे तो ज्यादा समझ आएगा. Good. So now we talk of the next heading, Janpadas and Mahajanpadas. Now before even reading, let me tell you, Janpadas were towns. Mahajanpadas were like metro cities. Okay? Got it? Like if supposing the Janpadas in today's time, we'll say Kanpur, maybe all these. And the Mahajanpadas will be the capital cities, maybe say Lucknow, Delhi. The metro cities at that time were called Mahajanpadas, and the Janpadas were the local towns and cities, small towns and cities. So now let's read it and know in detail about what they mean. Okay. Meaning of Janpadas and Mahajanpadas. Janpada implied a state or territorial unit formed by several janas. Several villages made a jana. Several janpadas combined together and constituted a Mahajanpada. Now listen very carefully. When number of villages clubbed in together, they formed janpadas. कई सारी villages आपस में एक मिल गई, बड़ी होते होते एक में मिल गई, and they formed janpadas. Clear? Now, when many janpadas clubbed in together, they were called the Mahajanpadas. A big, huge area was covered where a number of towns were included. Clear? That was Mahajanpada. Now, the word Jana means low, people. And Pada means unke pair. So, the place where the people first stepped were called Janapadas during those times. The people were first started settling in groups in big, huge numbers. Those places were called Janapadas. Clear? Now we talk of by about 600 BC, the Ganga plains were cleared of the thick cover of forest to make place for Aryan settlements. Each of these settlements or territories was held by a ruling class comprising different tribes. These small states were called the Janpadas. The names of these Janpadas were Gandhara, that is modern Afghanistan, Kuru, Panchala, and Videha. Please underline these four names. Now they are telling you that these huge Janpadas became very powerful, they became very popular because of the presence of powerful kings ruling them. भाई जिस देश का राजा स्ट्रॉन्ग होता है उसी का नाम होने लगता है ना, उसी पर्टिकुलर स्टेट का. बाकी सारे किंगडम्स उससे डरते हैं या दे look upon him as a ruler, isn't it? So this is what was happening. And among the prominent Janpadas were the Gandharas, the Kuru, the Panchalas, and the Videhas. Did you get these? Are the names clear, children? Please underline them. Now, with the passage of time, some Janpadas, they conquered the neighboring territories. Plus, the Mahajanpadas were. Very simple. Supposing I am the ruler of one particular Janpada, and maybe you are the ruler of some other Janpada, and maybe this other person is the ruler of some other Janpada. Now, 2-3 of us have our own Janpadas where we are ruling. Now, supposing one fine day I decide to have a fight with that other Janpada, and supposing in a fight I am victorious, that means I have incorporated that Janpada as mine. Then I took a fight with the other one, and I incorporated and won that Janpada also. Now I became a Mahajanpada, right? Why? Because I'm quite a popular and powerful ruler among the other Janpadas. Clear till here, children? Clear till here?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yes.
Ma'am, please show me the page.
Okay. The Buddhist and Jain literature, thank you. The Buddhist and Jain literatures show that around 600 BC, the whole of northern India, mind here with me, be alert. Okay. Buddhist and Jain texts, literatures, they tell us that during 600 BC, northern India was divided into 16 kingdoms. Here, there were 16 kingdoms. These kingdoms were known as Mahajanpadas. The 16 Mahajanpadas, their names are given here. I will quickly read out. Anga, that is Bhagalpur in Bihar now. Then Magadha, district of Patna and Gaya. Please switch off your mic, please. Kashi, that is Banaras or Varanasi. Kosala, that is Ayodhya. Riji, that is North Bihar. Malla, that is Gorakhpur district. Chedi, that is between rivers Yamuna and Narmada. Vatsa is Allahabad. Kuru is Thanesar, Delhi and Meerut district. Panchala, it is in Bareilly and Badaयूं. Matsya in Jaipur. Surasena, Mathura. Asmaka on the rivers of Godavari. Avanti is Malwa. Gandhara is Peshawar and Takshila district. And Cambodia, southwest of Kashmir. Now, please see this map here. Can you see this map here? There are the names of 16 Janpadas very neatly written there. Can you all see that? I want each one of you on a physical map of India. Please do mark these places very carefully, very neatly. Okay. This is your first homework for the final term, first chapter, first class. Okay. Now, here these are the names of Mahajanpadas. That means the rulers.
Ma'am, we have to make this map in the copy.
Yeah. Okay. Please physical India with these 16 places Mahajanpadas marked. Okay. So
Ma'am, this is the first chapter from final.
who were all in all very powerful. Yeah. Now we move on to republics and monarchies. Now before we go on to republics and monarchies, let me tell you the terms. बिना पढ़े एक बार इनका मतलब समझ लो. Now republics means that there were people who were ruling the kingdom by voting. That means it was not that voting was done, democracy was there. No. Republic means where 235 wise men elected from the people, they look into the affair of the government. They looked into the affair of the kingdom at that time. And monarchy means either a king or a queen was the ruler of that particular kingdom. So now they are telling you this 16 Mahajanpadas which they had only two forms of government. Either it was republic or monarchy. So out of these 16, most of them had kings who were ruling. So that means monarchy was there. But there were certain Mahajanpadas where republic was done, where there was no king who was ruling. There were 4-5 wise men who were looking after the affair of the kingdom. Clear? So I repeat again, out of the 16 Mahajanpadas, most of them were ruled by the kings. That means there was a monarchy in those kingdoms, in those Mahajanpadas. But then there were certain kingdoms or Mahajanpadas where only 4-5 wise men who were appointed by the common people, they looked after the working of the kingdom. Is this much clear? Is this much clear? Now I need a thumb.
Yes, ma'am.
So I move on. Two types of political systems prevailed in Mahajanpadas. They were republics and monarchies. Now let us read about monarchies. All the above Mahajanpadas were ruled by kings. They had their own capital also. Rajagriha, Kaushambi, Mathura, and Kashi were the capitals of some of these Mahajanpadas. These were the monarchies. So now they are telling you monarchies were the Mahajanpadas which had kings and queens ruling over. And they also had a capital also. That means a particular king Mahajanpada had a capital. Every Mahajanpada, they had a capital, especially the monarchies. That means where the kings and queens were ruling. Here, now they talk of republics. Now, there were some republics also. They did not have the hereditary king. Here, the rulers were chosen by the people of the kingdom, like we choose our government today. Now, these kingdoms were known as Ganasanghar. Some of these were bridges of Mithila, the Shakyas of Kapilavastu, and Mallas of Pava. Now, they have told us the names of three basically Mahajanpadas which had republic type of government. That means 2-3 wise men, just as we have a voting system here, they were elected by the kingdom people and they looked after the working of their kingdom. Now, among those kingdoms, they were known as Ganasanghar. Ganasanghar, that means the people were the look after. They didn't had any king or a hereditary king. You know what a hereditary is? Where the king and after him the king's son takes the power. Okay, that is called hereditary. There was no heredity, there was no king, there was no kingship. They had wise people looking after. So supposing I ask you, can you tell me some of the Mahajanpadas which had a republic form of government? What names will you take? What names? Bridges. You will say bridges of Mithila, you will say Shakyas of Kapilavastu, and Mallas of Pava. These are the some kingdoms which had republic form of government. Now, supposing I ask you, tell me the names of few Mahajanpadas which had monarchies type of government. Please tell the names of those capitals. Let me know it. Come on. Rajagriha,
Kaushambi, Mathura, and Kashi. Rajgiriha, Kaushambi, Mathura, and Kashi.
Very good, very good. So listen, while I'm teaching, I don't like this having water in between. Do I do anything else other than teaching you? So फिर आप भी मेरा at least respect me, huh? If you're really thirsty, take permission. Ma'am, may I have water? But without taking permission, if you're doing it, it's my insult, no? Okay, chal. If you're really thirsty, you can have water now. So now, life of the people. Now, for life of the people, that means the kind of life they were living at that time, we have to take into account. Okay? Now, first is the social condition. That means what kind of conditions were prevailing at that time. Let us see. First is the caste system. During those times, the people had divided themselves into caste systems. There were 4 castes: the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, the Shudra, the Vaishyas, and the Shudras. Now, the Brahmins were the learned class, the people who were teachers, priests, and preachers. Then the second was the Kshatriyas. They were the warriors who were into wars always. They were fighting and defending their kingdom. The Vaishyas, they were the traders and the merchants. And Shudras were the lowest of all the caste who used to do all the menial jobs, all the small jobs like cleaning, washing, and all. Clear? So during those times also, they had this evil practice of which is called caste system. Let me quickly read it and tell you. As the Aryans spread to the whole of India, their social condition changed. The caste system came into existence. Intercaste marriages were prohibited. No one could change from one caste to another. So there was such a rigid caste system that they could not change over their caste, and they were not allowed to switch over from one caste to another. Intercaste marriage was not allowed. So all this was a drawback. We'll talk about it more in detail in our next class. The bell has gone. Bye, class.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye, ma'am.
You stop the recording, please.
Bye, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.